We are live, and I hate crashing into live shows, but sometimes tech, not our hero tech, but technology makes you do that. Hey, it's ForceCenter Live. I'm Ken Napsok.
I wish tech was here and could fix live streams for us. Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing?
It'd be a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
And he could make fun of us for our tech setups.
I didn't even get to adjust my beanie today. We're here. Hey, it's a Friday live edition Q&A. We love doing this. And a little bit later, we're having some calls. If you're out there, if you're a Patreon supporter, you have the link to call in. We're going to be taking audio feeds of you all here. It's going to be great, but you'll know when to call in. Don't worry about calling in quite yet. I'm okay, Joseph, on a Friday. How are you?
I think a tradition of our Friday live streams is that we got a bunch of other stuff going on, and we just come screeching in last minute. The community meme of Donald Glover walking back in and everything's on fire. That's the vibe that you and I always have as we begin these live streams. And then I calm down and I have such a good time, and I'm very excited to be here. It's such a great time in Star Wars.
You know, sometimes you bumble and stumble for the first 40 minutes, then you realize what you're up against and you pull it together. We're having a good time here today, pouring drinks on a Friday for us here. We partake in some adult beverages that you'd find at the Outlander Club, but out there, that's optional and maybe not the choice you make. But not only do I get the Game of Thrones Stein, Joseph, I've got something new. I've got lemon flavored. It's they have more of a French lemon kind of thing on it, but it's a lemon rum.
Oh, a limon rum. Oh, highfalutin.
Yeah.
I have a Hoegaarden beer, which I believe I've had here before, in the solo glass that I got at the Acolyte Theater. That was kind of a promotional thing. Sarah, my wife, saw someone else at Arclight Theater in Los Angeles with one of these glasses and asked someone who worked there, like, can you buy a solo glass? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, where'd that one come from? It's like, oh, I don't know. I'll look in the back. It wasn't. So I fought. I fought to get this solo glass that I got my beer in.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I have another thing, Ken, and I ran out of time. I was gonna pick one up for you and just drop it off at your apartment like a weird summer Santa Claus in the middle of June or the end of June. But I found this at Target, the Star Wars Oreos that all the kids are talking about.
Yes.
So I thought I could open one of these and see if the live stream will be light or dark.
It's gonna be light. I came home with a package of those not too long ago.
Okay.
And, and the drill is, now that's 10 individual packages right there. Did I see that?
This was the only thing that Target had. They didn't have like a normal bag. They had a standee, a really weird standee. I'll share some photos eventually here. This is, I think 10 packs of 2 individually wrapped cookies, which I guess the point is to just make you feel really guilty about what you're doing to the environment as you eat Oreos.
Well, that gives the opportunity for redemption. I bought and brought home a package, and you open up and you're stuck with it. It's either entire package of light or entire package of dark, and my fiance Grace. You know what side she tends to go towards, and we open it up, and we got the light side cookies, and I was almost asked to return them.
Did she rage? Did she shoot lightning at them from her fingers?
Yeah, but then we ate them.
Well, do you mind if I just open it up now and see what our fate waits for us? Will it be a light side? Will we be on the light side?
Jealous that you got them.
The limon rum side?
Yeah, Alex Star Wars Explained is here, says those Oreos are kind of strange texture-wise.
Well, the first thing that I encounter is just chaos. I thought there might be some organization in the box, but look at this. Look at this.
What? It's just like a box of package. Okay.
This is like an 18-year-old moving into the dorm level of packing going on here. This is terrible.
I'm a poli-sci major. Where are my cookies?
Okay.
Okay.
It so is there's like 2 backlight cover.
It is. So there's 2 cookies in there. Oh, this is gonna. This is great ASMR. Great ASMR crinkles.
Oh yeah.
ForceCenter goes ASMR.
I think it's going to go great with the beer.
It's Oreo, gritty Oreos and cookies and beer. Jared, the cream is kind of gritty.
No.
Oh, you've
always
got
2 there are. A master and an apprentice.
That's
and it's two biker scouts, but
oh, that's right. Yeah,
it kind of looks like Nine Numb has sunglasses as well.
it really
Because
does.
it looks like just big ears.
Looks like Nine Numb is going on a trip to Niamos and he's on the beach.
Yeah.
So
Well,
two biker scouts. Okay.
evil biker scouts.
Well, hey, they're good design. You've
Yeah.
got some cookies. We've got some super chats and questions coming in right now while Joseph dines, and that's a good dinner. Set up what we do here. This is our ForceCenter live show. We take questions from the audience. Super chats, of course, are always welcome. They help support the show, help us grow, help us reach our goals. We are 10 years and counting, and that's in 99% because of all of you. So super chats are welcome. Get them in. It helps us see the questions. But we always want to say that's not the only way you can join the conversation. We'll be pulling questions, favoriting them all through the episode. We'll be here till about 4 o'clock our time, so get in before that. Also, at some point, we are going to be opening up the phone lines to our Patreon supporters. The link is in the Patreon of ForceCenter Patreon at patreon.com/ForceCenter. It is an audio link, and we're going to be asking what your favorite Acolyte character is. Yes, we know we have 3 episodes left, but so far, who do you want to celebrate, even if they've left us too soon? Also, spoiler alert for that conversation. So when you call in, have that answer, have it ready to go. We'll discuss it, and we appreciate you all being here today. How was it?
The actual cookie part, it was so far good. I haven't had the cream yet because I see many people in the chat have had this, and I want to make sure that this is normal and not some sort of freakish thing that I should report to the FDA. I didn't expect it to be like a little anime eye where part of it is red and part of it is white. Is that normal? Is this normal for a Star Wars Oreo?
That's kind of weird. I don't know about that at all. That looks like they didn't finish the job. Normal, says 8984.
Normal. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, mine looked like that too. Thanks. This is like being on like a Reddit thread about a rash. Yeah, mine looked like that too. Don't worry.
That's amazing. Now you're making me hungry for dinner and Oreos there.
Yeah. There's the crystals,
is it gritty?
It's a little gritty, a little poppy, like it would be if you ate a crystal, which is a weird thing.
Not a crystal critter. Not had that, but there you go.
It's a little like those pancakes that Denny's did for Solo.
Oh, remember when an entire table of Star Wars podcasters experienced a simultaneous sugar crash at the El Capitan Theater? You, me, Alex, and Steve from Black Series Rebels, and some other folks sitting at a table having those pancakes, and all of us going,
This is what the Oreo team wants to hear. The cookies felt weird in my mouth, and indeed, they did.
Always good.
Yeah, I love any weird Star Wars tie-in. Kind of the weirder, the better.
True,
but it isn't a weird one. Like, hey, have you ever thought about what powers a lightsaber? And would you like to mix it with cream and eat it? Yes.
He did a friend of David McKay. Says, does that mean they had to bleed those Oreos to make the bread? I think so. I think that's how it works. Let's get to it here. Also, we always want to say, of course, Jennifer Landa is the third part of ForceCenter, and we absolutely always love when we can get Jennifer on board, but because of life, as always, these live streams are a little harder for her to make, so if she ever pops up, she'll pop up, but we want you to know Jennifer won't be here today, and of course, we absolutely miss her. So thanks for those who want her here as well. Okay. I'm looking at we showed up. There was questions waiting, Joseph.
Yeah. No, there's a lot. So I'm still recovering from the crystal in my mouth. If you have one you want to grab, if you've already spied one that you like, Ken.
Oh, I actually was gonna start one that was directly for you, but if you
Oh no, do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it.
Rona, who we had a wonderful chance to meet in London at Star Wars Celebration Europe 2023, right? That was the last year. Joseph, what are your thoughts on The Last Jedi's influence on the new series What of Doctor Who? This is a tough question because it goes into areas that I personally don't agree with the showrunner Russell T Davies on about Episode 9, but it's not for me to debate because you're a Whovillian.
Yeah. I think it is complex. I have not heard Russell T Davies' actual comments on the commentary that he did for the episode. When I watched the episode, just for kind of non-spoilery context, I don't even know how to do it. I don't think I can do it. If people watch Doctor Who, they know it, and if they might watch Doctor Who, I don't want to. Anyway, it's hard. So if you don't want to be spoiled on Doctor Who, maybe tap out for 90 seconds. I loved the episode of Doctor Who, and I thought for what that episode of Doctor Who wanted to say in that whole season, it was great, because I think Russell T Davies was playing with audience expectations in a way to take advantage of the rampant speculation that we all got involved in with The Last Jedi before it came out, that caused ForceCenter to adopt the catchphrase "speculate responsibly." And he engaged on that on purpose. He's still engaging on it. There's a mystery character whose mystery wasn't resolved in this season, who every time she appears, he is dressing in a famous outfit of a different companion from Doctor Who, so that every time you go online, everybody's like, this character has something to do with Romana. No, it has something to do with Clara. So this whole season, he kind of played a game where he stoked those expectations on purpose and then subverted them. And I thought it worked great for Doctor Who. I loved what happened in Doctor Who. And while I love Last Jedi, I feel like I'm really happy with where Rey's story ended up. So I was sort of uncomfortable to be like, I just want to enjoy Doctor Who. And I thought it was a great choice in Doctor Who. And I thought it had great meta commentary about fandom and fan discussion, and the message of who is important and why was beautiful and important. And for myself personally, I didn't want that to turn into a criticism of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
People can probably piece it together, but I love the concept that is put forward, the idea that's put forward in Last Jedi, and I know some people would prefer that Rey's lineage would have stayed. Absolutely no one. I love the meaning of that. It's beautiful. I also just think Rise of Skywalker continued all of her emotional journey and the themes and things that she cared about a lot. And I know for some people, it's just like Rise of Skywalker is dead to them because they made her a Palpatine, and I get tired of that tension.
Yeah. I want to be clear. I hadn't heard his exact words. It was recounted to me from someone. And David McCases, for context, RTD didn't even know the name of the movies he was talking about.
Well, so maybe he was talking about the fandom. I haven't listened to it because I love this season of Doctor Who. I loved that episode. I loved its message. And I was like, I don't need Doctor Who to turn into something. I don't need my shows fighting with each other. I gotta watch my friends fight with one another online. I don't need my shows fighting with one another online.
I don't have the skin in the Doctor Who game, and the concept and everything. It's just I get a little grumpy when it's suggested that episode 9 walked back things. That's also, I think, a misreading of episode 8, number 1, but it doesn't mean I don't think you can't explore some of the concepts that people had, or like you said, enjoyed about episode 8. I think those are very interesting on their own too. So I'm sure it was great. Doctor Who is something close to your heart. So
yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thank you for asking. And sorry if I was on a sugar high and not answering clearly.
No, you're doing great. Rhoda, thank you for that question there. We're off and running. If you have a question, get in. Also, like I said, we're taking calls through our Patreon page, Patreon supporters, and that call will be about what is your favorite Acolyte character. Now, I started in radio. If you go off the path, I'll hit that dump button so fast. I'll hit it so fast. If you're calling in to make a song request to Led Zeppelin, do not start telling me another story. I'll take your request and say goodnight.
Do you have a noise? Do you have like a loud gonk noise?
It's just click. Oh yeah, no, we could do. Yeah, no. So there you go. All right. What do you got, sir? Anything jumping out to you? We got some super chats. We got some great questions.
Yeah, we got some great super chats. So I want to pull this one in from Brooklyn. Thank you very, very much. What are the chances poor Kalnaka gets framed for the actions of the stranger is a cover-up? Fave character so far. Manny Jacinto's biceps. The true hero of the internet right now. Is them guns.
Killing it.
Yeah, no, I think that Kalnaka getting framed is fascinating. I also kind of feel like, one of the many mysteries of the end of that episode is is Saul even remotely suspicious that isn't Osha? Is Saul just so concentrated on get Osha out of here and tell everybody back at the Jedi temple what happened, that there's a plan to come back for those bodies to put them through any sort of official Jedi burial? So it is making me wonder, like, are they going to come back to the planet and all the evidence is gone? Everyone's bodies are gone.
Yeah.
Or is it going to be like Kalnaka is going to have been posed to be obviously guilty?
Just put his lightsaber back in his hands, all those kind of things. I as always with great theories, it's I want to analyze the why, and so it's like why would they feel the need, and how could they do that? One of the more intriguing things that I think is still yet to be discovered is the fact that, number one, Kalnaka was like, yeah, I'm going to go take a powder and be over here for a bit. Sorry, I'll be outside the ring while you're all fighting on the inside for a long time. He didn't take that Barash vow like Torben, but he's off permanently camping. But still kind of, I got the idea with Vanessa and everyone that they know where he is. He's over there, right? He asked for that assignment that was kind of like, let's put him over there. But he go over there and he's got the symbols. He's got the symbols from the Coven and all those kind of things. So it's like, how far down the path did he go into that? What's his obsession with it? And do they need to twist it around to blame him? I think we're still at 0.3 episodes left, where a lot of answers to come, and this might become more clear as we get towards the finish line there. But I don't see them, but I think there could be something going on with Kalnaka that they could make that more possible. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're obviously going to get answers of what every Jedi did or did not do with the witches. It's been set up too much. But I really do like that Torben just seems like absolutely obsessed with guilt, but Kalnaka almost seems more obsessed with the belief system. So I'm really intrigued by that with the witches stuff. I feel like maybe he's aligned with something they believe, but it almost seems more like they were onto something. They understood the Force in a different way, and maybe they were right, is what Kalnaka's, scrawling on the walls obsession felt like to me. So that's my serious thought. My jokey thought is it would be horrible and funny if Chimera, if the stranger goes and rips all of the arms off of the dead Jedi to frame the Wookiee. Like, look, the arms are ripped off. A Wookiee did it.
Oh, a Wookiee did it. Wookiee did it. Clearly, this Wookiee did it. Love that there. Look, we're off and running here. We got a quick question coming in here from Douglas Dubois out there, way south of the equator, New Zealand way. Can we get some love for Jackie? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And also for Daphne Keane, just absolutely putting it all on the table with her fighting style. Loved watching her just go head to head, and I know the cast and the crew and Leslie Headland set up some big lofty goals for making these lightsaber fights being some of the best, and I do think they accomplished that. I think lightsaber fights are always going to be a personal taste. I've said I'm drawn to a little bit more of the fighting style in the sequel trilogy. My favorite of all time is probably always going to be Luke and Vader on the second Death Star, or Obi-Wan and Maul, all of 2 seconds of it in the desert. But I on a second viewing, you could appreciate the coordination, the guy we always forget, Christopher Cowan, right? What is his full name? I want to make sure I get it right. He put together those fights and deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, and I think that I think that consistency of vision and sort of treating the fights like its whole own art. I mean, I think the Nick Gillard of the prequels is part of it. It's just all so much of his language and his vision. And there are many lightsabers fights I like, but I've said again and again, the Obi-Wan Maul, the way it's shot, the way it has such a fluidity that it is a beautiful ballet of death. And I love that the camera pulls back and you see the entirety of the bodily movement. And that's what was going on in these fights and made it so great. But I want to shout out all of Jekkie's fighting with May pre-saber is phenomenal too. And that Jekkie is just on point of like, yep, horrible Sith monster, but I have a job to do and I'm sticking to it. And it's arrest May. And that all of that action is great. The headbutts, the leg flips to get her on the ground, the pushing her into the hut and then turning around with the Force to make the arrest. Yeah. And the fact that, May almost gets her. May almost puts a knife through Jekki's throat, and
Mm.
then Jekki fights like hell to keep
Mm.
May alive. I'm gonna die on this hill. The Jedi in this episode, they've made mistakes. We're gonna find out about them, but the Jedi in this episode are behaving like true Jedi in this episode, and
Mm-hmm.
Jekki, chief among them, defense first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talked about the philosophy of the Jedi in the fighting in depth on our review of the episode Night. Go check it out. Plug, plug, plug. Love that there. Yeah, I really. I talked about this in the episode. There's a small tragedy for me of not just losing these characters, but wanting to see what Jekki and Yord could learn, or what would happen to them once more information came out. But as I sit with it more, I really love this decision. And it wasn't a negative view on what I just was like, oh, but I wanted to see what happens when she learns some truth. What happens to Jekki? They made this decision. I think I love when artists and writers, and even some of the actors, make these decisions on how to play it. And I thought it was really effective. It stayed with me, and it has clearly stayed with a lot of folks there. You got those Jekki and Horde tissues being sent out by StarWars.com or Star Wars Official right now. So people are upset, and that's okay sometimes. I like when stories they can get you right in the heart.
Yeah, and I'll take a little bit of that sort of that horrible realism in Star Wars. Star Wars is often fantasy story, often a mythic story.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like one of the things that the show did is really make us wonder, where is Jekki going to end up? Where is Yord going to end up? And it makes it more tragic that we were ready to go with them on this life journey, and their lives were cut short. It makes it even more, haunting and effective and surprising.
Yeah. And I was making sure it was Christopher Clark Cowan is the man behind the fights there, and I want to make sure give him all the credit in the world, because they struck a chord with folks, and he did a wonderful job.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're rolling along. Thank you all. We're going to take some calls soon, hearing from you about what your favorite Acolyte characters are so far. I'm looking here right now, and there was one, we also want to acknowledge, Joseph, that we've been experiencing some we're very thankful to experience some growth in our YouTube channel here. So you might be relatively new to the ForceCenter world. We've been around for about 10 years, podcasting since 2015. So we're so happy to have newer people on. So sometimes there's some great questions that I consider kind of catch-ups for the general audience. So here's a great one from Derek. Says, I'm starting The Rising Storm by Kevin Scott. Have you guys read any High Republic books? If so, what is your favorite so far? So the general answer, then I'll get some specifics from you, Joseph, for those. No, we absolutely have read High Republic books. We actually reviewed and covered all of Phase 1 in general. Maybe some small exceptions here and there. Those are up on the podcast feed. Check them out. Then Phase 2, not because of the books, but because of life, it all got a little overwhelming. I know, Joseph, you have gone on and read ahead, so you can answer that. I have been way behind on Phase 2, Phase 3, whatever's going on. And I'm actually bummed at that. I'm trying to find time to get to it. So that's the overall. But what do you have for an answer?
Yeah, we were jazzed. We discussed all of the books, not the comics, but all of the novels. Is big, long episodes of ForceCenter. In fact, when we did Light of the Jedi, Alex Damon joined us, and I think our episode is pretty close to the same length as the audiobook. I'm not sure. It was a long episode because we all three of us just loved Light of the Jedi. Yeah, and then Phase 2, Ken and I fell behind on the reviews, and then we kind of got to a point of like, we're not going to be able to review all of the books. So then I have been reading through them. So I'm halfway through Phase 2 right now. I'm about 100 pages into Path of Vengeance right now. So I don't know how Phase 2 ends, and I don't know anything about Phase 3.
Yeah, same. And I think I'm in general kind of caught up on some of Phase 2 in terms of just hearing it in the general chat sphere. But I'm really behind on that too. But for me, I love Phase 1, and it seems like a cheat to say that Light of the Jedi is my favorite. But Light of the Jedi is absolutely it's top 5 for sure. But it's in running for my favorite Star Wars book of the modern era, stretching back to 2014, if not of all time, because I didn't read a lot of EU as people know. It's just, I remember I was almost disappointed when I was reading it, like, oh God, this opening sequence is a movie, and it was written so well, and jumped off the page, and just I didn't have any like doubt about what they were doing, but it was so big and it was a different era. I was like, all right, let's see, right? You're going to read it as a fan, and be like, let's see what they got for me. And I just was bowled over by Light of the Jedi. It's up there for me, and can't wait to dive back in.
Yeah, I agree. I think the High Republic does a great job of like there isn't any giant systemic problem with the Jedi, but the Jedi are individual beings who
Yeah.
have individual challenges, and they slip and they stumble and they make mistakes and they pick themselves up and they do amazing things. And it's the Jedi as not as perfect. They've figured it all out, but is heroes who are also kind of real. But the Light of the Jedi is like, this is when the Senate is aligned and the Jedi are aligned on what are the ideals, and we are gonna fight for them, and we're gonna be seen as heroes. And it's so well written in a breath of fresh air. So Light of the Jedi is my favorite. Into the Dark is another one.
Right.
Claudia Gray, middle age. That's the one that introduced us to Reith Silas, the young Jedi who just wants to stay home and read books. Very, very relatable, but has to go out and deal with the real world. It introduced us to the Drengir, along with the comics. Into the Dark, fabulous. I also really like the first book in Phase 2. Path of Deceit, which I think just really has a lot to do with the Acolyte, not in plot, but in terms of ideas.
Beautiful.
Those are my three faves.
Molly Damon's in chat, and she says Phase 3 is great so far. It's got the Molly stamp of approval.
Yeah, can't wait to get caught up.
You're welcome, Derek, for answering that great question.
Yeah, I think we had one other High Republic related question, so I'm going to find that. Yes, here it is, from our friend Anakin Crespin. Freaking love Acolyte. For funsies, in Phase 2 of the High Republic, there was a convocation of the Force on Jedha with many Force sects. What changed in 200 years that no one but Jedi could train children anymore? Well, as I just said, I've read the Battle of Jedha, which deals with that, and I'm reading some of the comics that deal with that. Like I said, I'm not caught up on the end of Phase 2 or the beginning of Phase 3, but I would imagine some of the stuff that happens in the High Republic books would make them go, we got to be, we kind of have to walk this line that the Jedi do constantly of like, well, of course we believe in everybody doing what they feel is right until it starts really, really, really hurting other people. Then it's our responsibility to defend. And it's that constant choice of when are we like, hey, everybody just do your thing. Unless it causes massive pain to other people, then it's our duty to step in, which is hard choices to make. I will also say that I felt like from what we've seen in the Acolyte so far, that there was a concern that any old Force user was training someone, but that a coven that is tapping into the dark side was perhaps teaching children elements of the dark side. That was my read on that episode, and I think as we get more episodes of Acolyte, that will become more clear if the Jedi at this point in time say, no one but Jedi can train children, or we saw something the witches did or are doing and feel like you're trying to teach a 9-year-old to shoot lightning out of her fingers, and we've got an issue with that, which could also be debatable whether they should do that. But I think that's an important distinction that I don't know the answer to yet.
Yeah, I think I don't know the answer to it yet is a great way to look at it, because that's still forthcoming. I think that you can have fun with theories. Again, repeat, not familiar with Phase 2, but I've heard some of the stuff again. And there's something to be said. This is wild ForceCenter speculation that, look, as time goes on and the Republic intertwines itself a little bit more with the Jedi Order, and the Jedi Order is, even as we're seeing now with some of the stuff Ernestus said, has found themselves more intertwined with the Republic, that you could get cynical and say maybe money and power and influence take over a little bit, and maybe the Republic likes the idea of having a one, dare I say, state religion or state organization behind a religion. It's tremendously real world, but and that I'm not saying Jedi leaders like Yoda, but if your Jedi leaders look around are like, hey, we have some good reasons for snuffing out some of the challenges. Like you said, I still believe in my heart we're going to find out a lot more about what the Jedi did, but also what the witches did prior to that. That you could make a case for why they needed to kind of shut it down. but that doesn't necessarily make it right. Also, the other thing is I would counter, maybe it's a cheap counter. We don't 100% know. The storytelling's wide open. The Jedi, even after the fall, we see there's a lot of other people using it in a lot of different ways. We see it in a lot of, the Chiss and their view of it, skywalking and whatnot. We have other people's riding the wave and everything. They still exist, but we just haven't spent as much time with them. And I like the idea that others, I don't want to say challenges to the Jedi, but other ways of viewing the Force could always be there, and we could always find a way to spend time with them.
Agreed. Yeah, I can't wait to find out more.
There we go. We'll take a couple more here. Then, how do you feel about a couple calls to get us going here?
I feel great about that.
A couple more questions coming in. A lot of great ones today. We really appreciate this here. I like this one, Joseph. I'm the Ben Dude is a great username. Who you got in a planes, trains, and automobiles, Tatooine to Coruscant, home for Life Day style romp across the galaxy? I propose Hondo and Edie Karn. That's a team. God, that's a team.
Yeah. Yeah. That might be more Edie than I can handle.
Yeah.
I know different sides of her would have to come out. Maybe she would go on a bender with old Hondo there. Yeah, no, that is a challenging one. The Mason Jar Jar pairing in that Clone Wars 2-parter was pretty damn great, and I feel like that to me is kind of the heart of the old school vaudevillian double act, where both characters are flawed, but one of them is very serious, and one of them is a goof in the way they express themselves. I mean, that's like Mace and Jar Jar have some literal Laurel and Hardy vibes, not in appearance, but in attitude. So yeah, I think I would want to come up with that of like,
you're
or Obi-Wan and Quinlan, that vibe,
Yeah, the Obi-Wan and Quinlan thing is just I hope they have an apartment on Coruscant. We just odd couple that up. What you're talking about with Mace and Jar Jar is what I love about the answers is the pain that might be surprising to a lot of people behind Jar Jar that's played out so wonderfully in the Aftermath epilogue of Jar Jar Binks by Chuck Wendig. But that being John Candy's character and kind of the reveal and kind of the sadness in that, to me, that end turn with Steve Martin is all the way. You're with them all the way. You're understanding as he yells at Edie McClurg at the rental car, at the counter. You're with him. You're with him on it. But when the flip happens, you understand, and you're with him as he accepts. Tries to make John Candy's life a little bit better in the end. Is my read on that. So who's going to have that? And Jar Jar is definitely a person there. Han he's a little too cool than the uptight, kind of tightly wound Steve Martin. It's been a bit since I've seen planes, trains, and automobiles, I will say, but I'm a Steve Martin guy for sure. And a Candy guy. But Han's got that. All right, I see what's really going on, and I'd like to help. I'd throw Han in with some, not necessarily with Jar Jar, but with someone. Yeah,
no, that'd be great. Well, and just to honor them, Yord and Jecki would have been quite good in a in a buddy commie romp across the galaxy.
Yeah, man, that's a Yord. See, again, I want to go back in time to get some more Yord Horden done.
Yeah, the young Yord adventures would be just fine with me.
Gaz, Naughty Nemesis, Han and 3PO. Yeah, there's a little of that, especially in Empire. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Do you want to do one more, or should we dive into calls? What do you want to do?
If you got one more, then we'll do a call. I like that. We'll clear some of these great questions.
Yeah, we'll want to be sure to shout this one out from Cameron Stewart. Thank you very much for the kind super chat. Shout out to you too, and Star Wars Explained for being the best and most welcoming Star Wars communities. Also, Ken, can't wait to see you in Seattle next week. May the Force be with you always. For a minute, I thought, may the Force be with you. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you then.
Ken, I assume you're doing a show in Seattle, right? And this isn't just like a sort of like, we expect a Ken sighting, like he's a...
Yep. I'm heading down
wooden creature.
I'm heading down to the old Pike place there to catch a fish. No, nice. we won't be that close. No, Mark Ellis and I are back up at the Comedy / Bar Capitol Hill in the Capitol Hill section of Seattle on July 5th and 6th. So 2 shows. So Cameron, come up. Cameron, here's the rule. I always give this rule or the suggested. If you come up, say, hello, I'm Cameron from the ForceCenter chat. Because other people, some of you use different usernames or something like that, and I'm just sitting there kind of going, okay, but I want to make sure we connect. So say it there.
Absolutely great. Thank you, Cameron.
Yeah,
and
but thanks for that. Yeah, and look, for us, it is about that. It is a welcoming community, and making sure that everyone who sits at this table gets to enjoy what they enjoy in Star Wars, and making sure that kind of environment is fostered. And yeah, it's not always easy, especially as the numbers grow. Newer folks coming in who, don't understand yet what we do. So we love diving in, exploring what's there for us to connect with. So thank you all for making that possible.
Throw out this other just kind super chat from Annie Sander. I'm here for sassy little Jackie. I'd have loved to see her as an adult Jedi. I am heartbroken. As always, thanks for everything you do, and give my love to Jen. Yeah, and maybe this whole thing will just be Jackie Center, because we all obsessed on Yord so hard. But for people who've been listening to our coverage of the Acolyte, I thought she was such a great sort of hinge character who seemed to be wanting to just learn the rules of the Jedi and follow them, period. But then every time anybody kind of poked at her, she became much more emotional, fluid, open, intuitive. And I just thought she was such a fascinating character to be like, how's it going to end up? Is she going to end up more toward the Yord Kiadi-Mundi side of things, or more the inventive and emotive, like soul and all that? So that was really hard to see that question cut off.
And it's tragic, but I love it in terms of a story choice as artists, them making it. And I watched that clip of Daphne Keane saying, Leslie called me, and the first thing she said is, well, so you're going to die. And I think it's great to build back from there. Build back indeed.
Yeah.
All right. We are doing it. Let's ask our first caller to come on in here today. The question we're asking is, what is your favorite Acolyte character? And by the way, it's okay if someone calls and says Jackie, and you call in later and you want to say Jackie. That's more time to celebrate Jackie. That's not a problem. All right. We're going with Will here. Will is queued up, ready to go. Will, how you doing? Can you hear us?
I can. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, you're coming in crystal.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Hit us. What's your favorite Acolyte? Who is your favorite Acolyte character?
As of now, favorite Acolyte character is Yord, because I didn't really care for Yord at the beginning, because he's the stick in the mud, and I love the scene of him in the beginning when he smooths out his robes as he stands up. I'm like, oh, I totally know people like that. And as we keep going along, with what happened last episode. I'm frustrated with him because I'm like, "What, dude? Why are you leaving? Don't leave. You got to go back. You got to go back." And then he won't do it. And then I have the realization that I'm like, you know what? I'm Yord. Like I'm a total rule follower. Like I totally get this. And so it took 4 episodes, and right as I have this grand discovery, he goes back with all his, he stirs up his gumption, goes back and has his one moment where he, is finally able to break his rules a little bit in the spirit of light. And then, much like Captain Cephala charging out in Rogue One for a split second, it's over. And so I pour one out for Yord today, and in the realization that in hating Yord, I was hating myself.
Cheers. Not to hating yourself, but to Yord. The entire time I said I was loving to hate Yord, and he was playing this great game of like, I feel like Yord represents some of the stiffness that the Jedi are going to fall victim to. But he was always played with such heart and humanity in those little moments of like, there was such vulnerability the entire time of like, I need to be perfect for myself. And the way I saw myself in Yord, and the way I think many of us can, is rules are great to deal with fear. You don't have to be afraid if well, I walk in the room and I do these 3 things, and in following those rules makes me safe, period. So I feel like I was talking to a friend about this today, like working on creative projects. People love talking about, the history of film where people took risks. People love talking about when the shark broke, on Jaws. But then if you ask them to do something that breaks the rules right now on the project they're working on, they're like, no, we can't. That breaks the rules. Because people cling to rules sometimes for good reasons, but sometimes for that safety. And I love that was Yord's journey, that he wanted to get the hell away from that monster. And he was presented with a rule that he had to follow that would keep him away from that nightmare. And he made the right choice to go back and face the nightmare. It was a Yord triumph at the end.
Yeah. I love what you're both saying about Yord. And Will, you're hitting the core of what we do every week here on ForceCenter. Like what's there for us? What's there in our real life? And what can you learn from these characters? They are sometimes a mirror. And I think Yord was that for a lot. I've joked here. I'm generally speaking a rule follower. I'd love to think I have a rebellious streak. I really don't. And a lot of times it is fear. Joseph, you've spoken wonderfully this season on our breakdowns about fear infiltrating a lot of what the Jedi are doing. By a lot, I mean, again, about 99% of what they're doing here during this time. And I hide behind those rules when it comes to creative stuff, too. Even in my own stand-up, sometimes it's like, oh, I have an idea. Oh, but you're not really supposed to do that in stand-up. So, no, I don't do that because I'm afraid of taking that walk out into an uncomfortable zone. And I've said the example here. So sometimes I know we joke we're like the uncle at the party telling the same story again. But I don't cross streets unless there's a crosswalk that tells me to. That's fine for me because that is not putting myself in front of not only danger, but other people who might need to get somewhere faster. But if I fail to run across the street to help someone in need, then that's a destructive rule at that point. And it's a fear of going, I follow the rules. I follow the rules. And Yord, tragically, decided to run across the street because he needed to. And I think if he's going to go out on a shield, that's a good way to do it for me.
Yeah. It was great. So, Will, now that your favorite is gone, do you have a backup favorite?
The jury is still out. My Keldor was taken from me. Soul, I love his energy, but of course, I'm not sure what he's done yet. So before I cast my lot with Team Soul, I just don't know. I mean, Jackie was great. I'm really curious about Carrie-Ann Moss's. Being a High Republic reader, I'm confusing Indara and Indira constantly. But,
Indara, yeah.
Her energy is very strange in the show. I mean, in a good way, but she's super intense. And so I really want that flashback that gives me a little more for her, if we can get some, just to see what what has made her thus.
Yeah, I mean, she seems like the vibe so far to me is she's on the dogma line of we are correct, period.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love it. Thank you, Will, so much for the call and the conversation about Yord. And I'm sure that's not our last of the day. Thanks, Will.
Absolutely. Ken, I'll see you in Little Rock.
Oh, that's right. Wow. A lot of friends out in the world. I can't wait to hug y'all.
I'll wear a name tag.
If you're okay with me hugging. See you, Will. Alex coming in here saying that I initially thought Yord didn't have much of an arc, but Molly and ForceCenter pointed out that he did break his rule to help someone with a lovely arc, just short-lived. There you go. There you go.
A lovely short-lived arc. I wanted to share this from Matthew Stokes from a while back. Plot twist. Jackie's species' vital organs are all in her limbs.
We don't know. We don't know.
Is there a cross section that shows us that was she half human, half Theline, like Araya Stal-Sant, I believe, is that?
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. All right, we're off and running. This is great. Love it. Love it. You have a call you want to, I want to make sure. Joseph didn't start in morning radio, but he knows how to answer calls too, everybody. So
I know. I love leaning into your to DJ Ken.
That's right.
I want some wacky morning show sounds effects. No, I think let's do another caller.
Let's do it. Adding to the show now. He's one of our favorites. He's a host of a podcast called Page Turners They Were Not. Brennan Mystical Mar. How are you doing, friend? And what is what? I keep saying what? Who is your favorite Acolyte character?
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're good. Great, Brennan.
Joseph, good to talk to you, as always.
Nice to talk to you as well.
I got to talk to Ken yesterday, I think.
Yes, you did, sir. Yes, you did.
But yeah, I still got to say, meeting you guys in person was really cool.
Oh, well, thank you.
Anaheim seems like so long ago, Brennan, but it was a lot of fun. We'll do it again.
Yeah. I am definitely Master Soul is my guy.
Yeah.
He's got the most like Qui-Gon energy, and I love Qui-Gon, so
Yeah.
he's the guy. Unless, of course, it's revealed he did something really terrible.
That's where I was.
Changed my mind.
That's where I was going to go with you, Brennan. I'm with you too. Saul might be up there for me as my favorite, but I have this asterisk. Yeah. I still have this asterisk hanging over. I want to see the end of the story before I judge, but I love
if Saul did
what
something
EJ
really
doing.
bad, then yeah. But if he made a mistake, that's different.
Yeah.
We all do.
I'm gonna say Saul is my favorite with only maybe half an asterisk. Maybe. Yeah. He's so great. He does remind me of he's got Qui-Gon vibes. But he's got Luke Skywalker vibes to me, but he feels unique. I love that one specific detail that Vernestra says, that when he came to the Jedi and he was young, he was so shy. And then we hear from his perspective that coming to the Jedi was like being invited to the greatest, party ever, where he feels so warm and so welcome. He's with his people and he was still shy. There's so much depth and emotion, and he cares so much that I will maybe be horribly wrong, but I feel like the mistake he made is kind of like the mistake Luke made in The Last Jedi with Kylo Ren, where for just one moment he slipped and he ignited the blade, and like, yep, that was a mistake, but he rolled it back and he didn't do it. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's that kind of mistake that eats away at his soul. But then when we look back at the totality of what everybody did, it's like, hey, Kalnaka killed 8 witches, and Soul's like, I was mean to one of them, and I can't forgive myself. Like, is it going to be that kind of thing?
You never know, but I do like The Last Jedi comparison. That's interesting.
Yeah, could be.
I
could be very wrong.
That Lee Jung-jae is amazing in this show.
Yeah,
I think that this last episode was his best performance on the show.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely. I want to say he's absolutely killing it. That's not a phrase I want to use around the show right now.
I was going to say, I would have said that, but that just wouldn't sound right.
But he is.
Wonderful addition to this show.
He is.
I was really excited when they said he was going to be in the Acolyte, because I thought he was great in Squid Game.
He is.
And it looks like, it's paid off, and he's my guy. He's
your guy. For now, and probably forever. I think Soul's we're gonna understand him. Brennan, thank you so much for hanging with us as always. Keep plugging away with what you're doing over in your podcast, spreading the love of Star Wars. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right,
cheers,
Brennan is there. Cool. We got some questions coming in there. Lot to get to, and we're here for about another hour. That's on me. Usually we go till we fall over, but got some stuff to handle business-wise today for me. I apologize, but all right. What do you got? Anything jump?
Yeah, let me grab. All right, I'm just grabbing this one. Caleb Kirby says, I really love how Chimere's fighting style was almost entirely misdirection and tricks. It reminded me of Kenobi if he was a Sith. Very ninja versus samurai. Yeah, I would have to like watch it again to just obviously the cortosis and the sneaky blade, but yeah, I really loved that he seemed to be like literally overpowering them, but also Yord's great line about like he doesn't follow any of the rules, which I thought was just a kind of great canon thing of like, we've just been training against each other and blocking blasters and whips or whatever, but we haven't really had this sort of blade on blade force user fight. And we talked about it in the show. I really like that a lot of what he's doing seems to be mocking them for following the rules, while he himself is free to break all the rules, and that's there in his fighting style.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great read of what's going on, and even the death of Jackie was such a, it's we always talk about that Star Wars cool, and sometimes it's villains doing things that you're like kind of like, well, cool, I'd like to do that on a video game, and I totally get it. I never discount that as being part of the fun around here, but just the glee in the you didn't know this, you didn't think about this, and taking that and tossing that up against Yord, and that, as you mentioned, Joseph, but he didn't follow the rules. How unfair is that? Like, and just the two sides and how they fight. It's pretty powerful. What we love about the fights. It's fun to analyze them just in terms of the great action, but a good fight needs to have those themes all the way through it, and these ones did.
Absolutely. Thank you, Caleb, for that. These came real early on from our friend Jared. Jared says, who are the best pilots and why is it TIE pilots? We'll get back to that. Funds for Ken and Ken watch DS9. There you go, Ken. $2. You can quit your day job and watch Deep Space Nine, which I agree with. You should. I will give you $2 if you watch Deep Space Nine. It is a fabulous show, and you will enjoy it.
You and Plume.
And $2 for Jennifer's schooling. Thank you.
Oh, we're gonna send that over before the show's even done. We're gonna send that over. I'm sure there's a book or something to pay for.
TIE pilots got to be good, right? I mean, to answer the question, they got to be good because no shields, real fast.
Yeah, look, I think they got some skills. I think people like Vault Scaris rise to the top. There's some great names you can throw out there. Canon and Legends. I think they're right. I think they are trampled under the foot of the system they fight for, where the Empire is just like, you are laser fodder. We're sending you out in the lowest cost, cheapest built ship, and can you rise above it? We don't really care if you do. If you crash into something, great, that's good. It works for us. We don't value you. So there could be some good ones, but they're up against some things. But they also, again, they look cool doing it, and sometimes that is what people are looking for. So I agree.
I understand the cyber tie got recalled 4 times.
Yeah. Oh, too real.
All right, do you want to grab any more? We got some. We do have a few more super chats. Do you want to grab those?
We do. Yeah, let's do this here. Keeping with the Yord hordness going on. Caleb comes back with another one. Yord's moves right before his death were my favorite part of the episode. It showed great adaptation and flexibility for him personally and the Jedi as a whole until come here the Sith changed the context. Kind of going on what we were talking about here, and I really agree with that. And yeah, I think it's an arc. I think it is. It ends up in a tragic spot, but I think it's one to make. Like I said, if you're going to go after Shield, that's the way you want it to happen. Because I was I was frustrated with Soul a little bit, and a character I love. With that civilian to the ship, just this reciting page 13 of the manual. And it's probably done out of the idea of I need to make sure Osha lives. So I get that. No one needs to point that out to me. But I just had this, it was so cold and indifferent, right? It's like if I suddenly turned to you and said, Mr. Scrimshaw, stop that. Like, what? What? I'm Joseph. Me.
I understand, but also I think it was like a master move, because whatever he did, his trauma is involved with not being able to save May and Osha both, and the idea that he was going to get May killed, and then also to know that by barking in a direct order at Yord was the best way to accomplish that. If he did that, I don't think he would have said it the same way to Jecki or anybody else, as bark a direct order at Yord. And you're like, I have a direct order. It's great. But I so agree with Caleb, the Yord being able to adapt, which is, again, one of my favorite things about the Jedi, the idea of we have all this wisdom and we should use it. But then we also have to question everything all the time, which is an uncomfortable space to live in. It's hard. Having him turn around and go, I need to adapt to the new fighting rules. There's something going on with his arm. I'll use it against him. And then the great tragic moment. I know some people think there's a deeper thing with a deeper question of Chimere's background and how it relates to Soul. The Yord going I think is entirely about the fact that Yord and the rest of Jedi were not listening to any instincts. They had him. They believed he was low status. I think all of us talked about it on our review of episode 2. That was one of the reasons I thought he was the master, because I thought it would come back to haunt the Jedi that we had him. And we believed a goofy. Sorry, we missed the Sith because he had a goofy voice. And I think that is, that's why Chimere the Stranger got an upper hand, is because he had the shock of his hubris. Poor Yord.
Yeah, and by the way, a lot of people are definitely agreeing with you or saying it along with you here. Of I think Soul knows that Yord will follow the direct order, backed up by the rules. Yeah. Fantastic agrees. Civilian of the ship was to tell Yord to get her out no matter what. Yeah, and I want to make clear, I definitely agree with that. I just had a little bit of Just posse comitatus her. She's on the fight. You need more in the fight, but I think he did right. But absolutely, Soul. Or what you're talking about with them early on with Chimere. And I said I was kind of like, look, either he's what Manny sent us doing. Either he's got to be either in the mask or related to them, or I have a lot of questions. And it played out exactly as it should have to me, because we talked about it. Joseph, on our episode, but just this idea, and I think I was rambling on a live stream yesterday. I'm having deja vu of the problem. The problem was the point, or excuse me, the predictability was the point. Where I think it's, to me, you're watching the Jedi make this mistake. You don't know what Chimere is. He could just be a seller of information. He could be a connection. He could be the apprentice. He could be the master. We don't know. He could be anything. He could be Chimere Ren, the starter of the Ren. We're going to find that out. But seeing it and looking back and knowing that the Jedi couldn't see what perhaps anyone else could see, that even the stranger says, on some level to make, on some level you didn't know. Come on, I think that is part of the tapestry of the story right now, and that will be the part of the legacy, part of the loss, and part of the painful lesson is it was right there.
It's gonna be so fun to watch on rewatch. Also, Jackie being taught to leave no openings. And that is also going to be painful on the rewatch. Big Lou says, it was almost like when I issue a command to Lexus. I hope somebody puts out a song called Civilian to the Ship, so we can all yell at our devices, Civilian to the Ship.
Indeed.
It's also just a great beginning of the episode of Soul being like, I must protect Osha, and of course Osha coming around to being there to protect Soul's soul from that choice. Yeah,
absolutely. Love that there. All right. I want to. We can take some calls here, but Andy. I'm going to say this first, Joseph. Sorry, Andy gave us a super chat, but then comes back and says, "Oops, hey, I don't know how to use YouTube. I forgot my question." Andy, I didn't see your follow up. Post it, and I'll star it so we can come back to it. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we got a lot of calls to get to. A lot of super chats. Thank you all so much. We enjoy it very, very much. Appreciate it very, very much. I'm just having too much fun talking about the Acolyte.
It's going great. How about this call here from Jedi James? I want to shout out Jedi James, Joseph, because Jedi James was first in line. We were having some tech issues, so I had to kind of kick him from the studio a couple times.
Oh, no.
I felt sorry. I wanted to fix something first. But Jedi James is here. He's on the show. We are asking, who is your favorite Acolyte character, James?
Hello there.
Hello there.
I'm honored to be on the show. Thank you for having me. And so sorry for coming in too soon. I was excited.
It was us, not you.
Well, as far as my favorite Acolyte character, I could go to too many spots, but I got to repeat what I heard Brennan say earlier. Master Soul is easily my favorite. And I'll tell you, I loved Master Soul all throughout the show, but it was last episode that really made me love him. It was that moment when he had all this on him. He saw his student being stabbed to death. He saw everything he loved burn down around him. And naturally, he loses it for a second. And he really starts to attack Chimere kind of viciously. But just when he's about to thrash his head off, Osha stops him, and he collects himself, and he pauses. And I love that, because it echoes something Joseph has always said that I just take to heart. The Jedi are wonderful heroes, not because they're perfect all the time, but because they're flawed, they're human, they make mistakes, but they can always walk towards a better future. And no matter what Soul did, I agree. I think it's going to be very Last Jedi. I just love that, where he has so much on him, and he makes a choice to be better. And that will be right there with me, with Luke lopping off Vader's arm, but choosing to take a breath and throw his saber aside. It's stay there with Ahsoka almost going after Anakin's spirit in the world between worlds, but choosing to deactivate it and choosing to live. That's what that moment lives up with to me. And there was so much great in that episode, but that moment stuck with me more than any part of the episode.
Yeah. Beautiful. Really agree with that, and really, really well said. And I think all of that was so beautiful, and then tying it back to this sort of thematic idea of taunting the Jedi for attacking anyone who is unarmed. And, that's one of the first lines of dialogue we heard of this almost ritualistic thing that May must say to them before she kills them, which is all coming clearly from the stranger, made it even more powerful of hey, on the scoreboard, you won, Chimere, but you didn't beat me in terms of making me turn against myself.
I love what you're both saying. As always, Joseph has some great insight into what's going on here, and what we look at here. This is especially, again, I know we've highlighted some newer names around our chats and our discords and our listenership and viewership. We have that phrase emotional canon for exactly what James is talking about. These moments that echo throughout Star Wars, where I'm excited about canon, I'm excited about lore, and I want to, dive into that. I love all that. I love a good Easter egg video. That's how I became friends with Alex and Molly. That's how I developed my crush on Alex Damon, was his Easter eggs, okay? But I love looking at these moments all the way through that track, that are tracings of big lessons before, because that's why we're here. It's these lessons that matter to us. And so in the moment, yeah, man, there's times... obviously, I think even our episode, just over review, I was just like, cut his head off. Cut his head off. Because that might feel like the right thing to do in the moment. But this is a story that's supposed to move, inspire, and at times motivate to us, even in the losses. And a loss can be in that moment, but it's not necessarily the long view. And I think that's what you all are talking about. So love it, James. Big moment.
A lot of great soul talk of what will happen to him and how to interpret the name. Stop, says Alex. Alex's reviews of the Acolyte have been fabulous as well. After we record our reviews, that's my fun tradition. Is I get lunch and then I can watch Alex's review of the episode that we just talked about. And I think Alex's review of this episode 5 was great. A lot of discussion about what's going to happen to Soul. I think that there is a possibility that whatever he did, he does wear it and he does responsibility. And maybe one of the losses is maybe he'll just walk away from the Jedi when the Jedi need someone like him in the big picture, his approach. But maybe he'll be so guilty for this thing that he did in the past that he'll be like, you're right. I'll just go away.
God, that you just painted a kind of bleak picture of if someone like him were to walk away for reasons that might make sense and are good for him or his journey, and how much of a loss that would be inside the order more than outside in the world in action, of just like someone to have that kind of reasoned, Your Grace, we shouldn't burn all the small folk with a dragon. We shouldn't do that. I think we shouldn't. Like, to have that person around, that person who's going through it might be part of the loss. That might be it. James, thanks for the call. Thanks for waiting. Thanks for being patient.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor. Wonderful live stream.
Thank
you. Thank you so much. Great thoughts.
It's only wonderful because all of you make it wonderful. Though our friend Bradley says Soul is Snoke, and I think we've confirmed that here today.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. They do both wear gold robes sometimes. So
they do indeed. We could do another call, but Joseph, I found Andy's question. Andy's question. Okay. He says, ha! Thanks. Just a fun question. What if we were to do like Reader's Theater or a live performance of these questions? If you were going to add a ride to Galaxy's Edge from what we've seen so far, the Acolyte, what would it be? Something like Searching for Kalnaka led by Basil.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious, Andy. That was well worth the wait because what if it was like, Joseph, have you, I know I kind of grew up near Disneyland, so I think I was blessed to go a little bit more, but have you ever done the search for the hidden Mickeys?
Oh yeah, I've looked, that is a full day thing, but I look for the Mickeys. Yeah. Basil
taking you around on a hidden Mickey, but you have to keep up with them? Keeping a hidden Mickey tour? I that's outside Galaxy's Edge, but I'd be on board for that to start.
Yeah. This is a deeply inappropriate answer that I don't really mean, but it would be funny if they hired several actors to play Yord, and just when you enter a store, you'd catch them ironing their Jedi robes.
It's too real world, but what if you just had Yord as your loss prevention at every store? Let me search your bag. I got to search your bag. That in terms of rides, we haven't, because all the action is most of the action so far in Acolyte is fighting, right? So I don't think you want to have go to Galaxy's Edge and fight somebody. I don't know. Yeah, an ironing contest for uniforms, something like that. I'm trying to think of a big ride. What would work.
A race, take a speeder through the dark forest, and Basil is in front, sniffing and screaming, and the Umbra Moths zip down at you. That would be fun.
The Umbra Moths are great. That's a great idea. I think those are pretty good. I do like those Umbra Moths. I don't like them. I'd be terrified of them. But and I'm gonna when Grace finally sits down to watch the series, I'm gonna have to do some buggy warnings. We don't like boogles and buggies in our house, so it'll be good. Very good.
But they're dark side buggies.
Love it, love it. All right, what are you feeling, friend? What are you feeling?
Let's knock out one more of these super chats, and then we'll get back to some calls. This came in a while ago from Skywalker's Academy. How did Empire Strikes Back fracture the Star Wars fandom? Is it a trend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think social media, it's been making the rounds again. The fanzine that disliked Empire Strikes Back so much that they stopped participating in it. I think that's what Skywalker's Academy is getting at. Maybe not that actual zine, but the fact that there has been since the very first Star War, people have said, this is what I love about Star War. And then the next Star War evolves a little bit in ways that are challenging to the part that you liked. And that has been a thing that's always been there, and I think always will be.
Yeah, it's one of those poetry, it rhymes things, and it goes to just a lot of things. And I think the positive way for me to look at it is that it's driven by passion. It's driven by connection. It's driven by, you are without a doubt going to have connections to these characters, and so you have ideas. We talk often about kind of letting that stuff go and speculating responsibly and engaging with the story presented to you, kind of those ForceCenter bingo cards things. But they're key to our view of Star Wars. But we always, we have those too. You don't think we have thoughts on what we want to happen to Grogu? Absolutely. Absolutely. And it can run up against you. It can rub up against your heart and soul, what you want for this. And I just think that's the way it's going to be. It's always going to be. There's bigger conversations to be had around some of the things driving people's dislike of some Star Wars things or properties. I get it. And we're here to fight and take a stand and make sure Star Wars is welcoming, and that ForceCenter has a big table for everyone who connects with these stories, and we don't take away that joy. But I always want to make sure I understand. I understand sometimes when you're like, wait a minute, Han got put in carbonite? No. I refuse to accept that. That's my guy. That's my guy.
I mean, that is one of those things that, you can just accept Empire Strikes Back and to look back and go, well, it's a trilogy, and the second one was the Dark Chapter. It's Act 2. But the spine that it took to go through with that, if that had been a studio picture where Lucas didn't have control, there would have been an endless fight that he might not have won if it was a normal studio picture, to be like, no, just make Star Wars again. Yeah,
I agree with that. Oh yeah,
and then Star Wars would have died if he had just been like, it's Star Wars again. It would have been an entirely different beast.
Could you? Yeah, God bless it. Could you imagine that? If he didn't have, Alan Ladd Jr. quits in part because of the bean counters being upset with the budget of Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, could you imagine? Like, what? Wait a minute. The hero does what? That kid we've just marketed for the last 3, that Hamill kid, we put him on the Muppet Show. God damn it! You're gonna get him a win. Like, oh my God. Yeah.
Didn't stop me from loving Luke Skywalker.
Indeed.
All right.
We got a lot of calls lined up. Oh man, this has been a great day. Joseph. We're not even done yet.
No.
What are you feeling?
Let's take another call.
Let's do a call. He called in early, and he has a great name because it's what the question he asked. Jared the TIE pilot. You're here to defend TIE pilots, and who's your favorite Acolyte character?
I gotta go with Chimera for 2 specific reasons. One, because he's hot, man, my lord. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
2, though,
gotcha.
The deeper reason is he's the kind of dark side user I've been hoping to see in newer canon with Star Wars. As much as Papa Palp's my man, love that dude, but I feel like most of the Siths we've seen or dark side users have been more mustachy and plotty, and just something about Chimera's calm, his humor, just his I'm not nothing, but you would call me Sith. It's like that's a very interesting dark side user that I really hope we can see more of.
This is. Go
ahead, Ken.
No, this is great stuff and getting to the depth of it all. But and this is we actually have a clip either out today or coming. And by the way, while I'm thinking about it, shout out to our buddy Big Lou. Here's Big Lou in chat. Follow his channel, Big Lou's Clubhouse. Big Lou said, "Hey, I'm gonna help you because you boys need some help there. I'm gonna get some clips out for you, and Jennifer too, of course. And he's been editing some clips to help us spread the word. So I want to shout out Big Lou. But I think we have a clip about Jennifer talking about a lot of what you're talking about, Jared, of a new kind of villain, or at least a different kind. And I love all the Star Wars villains. They all bring their own things to the table. But as far as the look too. We take there's definitely some things that make me go, all right, yeah, a Knight of Ren is possible, or it could just be similar. Jury's still out on that. We'll see. I'm fine with the direction, but his look, the arms, the glove, the hair, he's what I think I look like in the gym. Like, when I look at the mirror, I'm like, oh yeah, the hair's coming down. Oh man, I'm looking good today. Then I walk out and I'm not. But yeah, I think just the look is striking enough, Jared.
Yeah, so powerful. And the other thing that I love about him, I think you listed a bunch of great things that make him different. I love that his philosophy seems to be in line with the manipulations of Papa Palpatine there. But we talked about it on the show. I feel like a lot of the Sith have a thread of loneliness that kind of peeks out a little bit. So far, he seems to be aware that he's lonely and happy to share it, be honest with himself about it when nobody's around, and use it to manipulate people. Like, just want a pupil? Just want a friend? I just tried to adopt a puppy and the Jedi wouldn't let me. That whole vibe that's both a manipulation and it feels like he's owning what Maul never could or Vader never could, that they're lonely is really awesome.
It's that line, I've accepted my darkness. I mean, he uses it as a dig, but I believe him when he says it, that, hey, I grew up thinking some messed up things and I'm okay with that.
Yep. Yeah. I'm going to embrace them. Yeah. It's beautiful. I can't wait to see more of the character.
Now, him versus a TIE pilot, Jared, who do you got?
All right. Really quick. TIE pilots are the best. Why? Slow ships, no shields. You got two front-facing heavy lasers that can't swivel. You are the best pilot, in my opinion. Because you're going up against X-Wings, Ken's beloved Y-Wings, all this shielded, heavy firepower nonsense, and you're just going to get right behind them and go, pew, pew.
Look, you're not wrong. When I try to fly a TIE fighter in a game, I get dizzy. I can't control it. That's why I need my slow and clunky Y-Wings, the workhorse of the Rebel fleet. So you might be right there, Jared. You might be right.
I have turned into many obstacles when I'm playing a TIE fighter. You turn so sharp, like, whoops, no, there was rock. There was another TIE fighter. Whoops, my bad.
Yep. Feel that. Jared, thanks for the call. We really appreciate you.
Guys. Keep it up.
There you go. We will. Jared, great stuff there. Man, a lot of fun. Let's see. All right, how we got 45 minutes or so left. We got a lot to get to, Joseph. Look at us. This has been a great day.
Yeah. Hey, let's do 2 speed questions. Can we do it? Let's find out.
Do it.
Can we make it easy for Big Lou to edit a monologue down? Can we do it? Let's find out. Okay. This comes to us from Ronald Sykes. Thank you very much. How do you guys feel about Rey movie being episode 10? The Rise of Skywalker was marketed as end of Skywalker saga. Is it too soon? Thanks, guys. I think my bottom line thing is I want it to be whatever is correct for the story, and then the marketing will take care of it. If it ends up that, hey, we've developed this story, Rey's a central character, but Finn's there too, and it's really a story of the state of the galaxy and who Rey is as a Skywalker. It turned out to be episode 10. The marketing will deal with it. Some people will mock that they said it was the end, but if that's what the story needs, great. But if the story ends up needing to be, it's about the Jedi, it's about Rey and the new Jedi Order, then I want it to be that.
Yeah, I think that there's enough to say that it's just going to be episode 10 because I think people are going to call it that anyways. And I don't even know if the Skywalker saga technically ended in 9. I count several other stories, including things in Kenobi and Ahsoka as part of the larger Skywalker story. So the spirit of that exists. But I do, and I agree with you, see where the story goes. But I do like this standing on its own. I don't need to worry about anyone who would be cynical about, oh, episode 10, but I'd like it to stand on its own and have its own identity. And calling episode 10 might hinder that. But again, it just might end up being that that's the thing, but we'll see. And I think we've got a couple years to figure that out.
Yeah. I also think if it isn't episode 10, it frees it from some of the expectations. Like if it has a different style crawl or different intro music, I think if they called it episode 10 and didn't follow some of those traditions, people would struggle with that too. All right. This comes to us from Molly Damon. Thank you, Molly. Molly says, am I the only one thinking of some wild theories for how Chimera could be connected to the Coven? Or if Chimera and Soul have met before? Let's hear your irresponsible speculation. Ken, you got some wild rum thoughts?
I'm so bad at speculation because I'm just like, no, he met him in the shop. What are y'all talking about? Like, he didn't know him before. He's just like, it's me, the guy from the shop y'all talked down to. You remember me? But the way that he knows and the way he's playing with it, even when he was talking to May about, what was his name again? Oh yeah, Master Soul. Does that work for you, May? Does that cause some problems? I know what that means. I definitely think they're connected. I like that. He might have been, it's too similar to Maul, but just might have been not selected for the program, and that causes some issues. The fact that he could be around the corners in the shadows with the Coven. I know he wouldn't be a part of it, especially that's matriarchal society, what's going on there. So I wouldn't want to be a part of it, but that he witnessed it, has a piece of information. But I think whatever it is, if there's a connection, it's going to be deep. I definitely not think they're related to some real world casting things that would make that not a good decision for me. I'm game to see where it goes.
Yeah, I love the hints that they dropped, and I feel like they want us to speculate about that with that very pointed, Yord and Osha exchange about, like, my mother could do that, get into a Jedi's head. I think it's inviting us to speculate that he's connected to the Coven. I think with I sense something familiar could be just the shop, or it could be something deeper, and Chimera could know a lot about what went down on Brendok from May, or he could have been there. Here's my totally wild, Molly, I'm taking it at your word, irresponsible speculation. I think there's a possibility that maybe the Coven has done some stuff that's edgier. Maybe he was not a member of the Coven. Maybe as a younger man, he was kidnapped by the Coven, and he was like in a cage to be put in a witch stew. Maybe he was a captive of the Coven, and he watched it all go down. Maybe he was an abandoned child on that planet who watched it all go down. My biggest thing is I feel like he is outside of the Sith system. I know Manny Jacinto used the word Sith Lord in an interview, but that doesn't cut it off for me.
Yeah, he also did a wonderful job lying about, I didn't even touch a lightsaber. I had to borrow Daphne's for an Instagram photo. Yeah, he did. He did a great job there. Yeah, I love that idea. By the way, that he's just in a cage swinging above a cauldron.
Molly says, "Okay, I was literally thinking the same things."
And the fact that that's a great scene of there. There's no other children here, and those other ladies are like, it's still one of our favorite moments.
We got this kid in the larder. There's the show's doing some great like old school Brothers Grimm fantasy stuff. So yeah.
That's a great way to do it. We got the Cali Kid with a super sticker. We appreciate that, Cali Kid. Let's maybe two more quick questions. Get to a call. I like what you're doing here. This one was up early. We've answered it, but we always love revisiting it. Saber Smith says, "What do you guys think the next animation show from Star Wars will be?" I at this point, I got to tell you, I don't know. The good guess of Ventress at least appearing in an episode of it is where I'll go and stick for right now.
Yeah, I think with the talking about this is not the end of Ventress, and don't worry, the story is coming of how she came back to us. I do think a Hidden Path show would be great. It could be approached from so many different angles. It could be set in so many different times. It could involve so many different characters. I think it ties with the kind of Barisoff-y cliffhanger. So I think the Hidden Path is a great guess to what might be next. I don't think it's next, but I still want a Luke's Jedi Order with young Ben Solo animated show at some point.
I love that idea. behind that as well. And then we got this one from Josh Bernard early in the show. Hi, Ken and Joseph. Not sure if you ever covered it, but would you do a deep dive on the wonderful mockumentary R2-D2 Beneath the Dome for 2001? That's such a deep cut. I know it. I don't think I've ever seen it in full. I think I remember some clips. So we could approach that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in years. It's so great. And I think it was it was clearly like a great time in Star Wars where George was real serious about doing the movies he wanted to do with the prequels, but just clearly had a sense of fun. Because that's around the same time. It's like, if everybody's going to make these Star Wars fan films, let's just make it a contest. And in fact, here's a library of lightsaber sounds. There was such a sense of openness and fun in that era. Not that there isn't today. And I, in fact, didn't think Disney's getting even more playful in engaging with the community, but that's one of the things I loved about that time.
Yeah, no, it was a different time indeed. Love that there. Okay, cool. Calls now. What do you feel? You are the slot machine, Joseph. You pull.
Oh my! We got all these callers. How about Lydia Osmo?
Oh, Lydia, you are on the show. You've won this next round of Who's Your Favorite Acolyte Character?
Hello. Thank you so much for taking my call. I'm sure there are a lot of people waiting.
Oh,
we appreciate it. Yeah.
No, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know you guys are like crazy busy, and this is so fun.
It's fun for us too. I mean, it is good to take a break and have some fun talking and joking about Star Wars with everybody and hearing all the different thoughts about where Acolyte might go. Is so much fun to be in the middle of a mystery and hear everybody's thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I know, just the way they present it is just, just missing so much information and just which direction are they going to go? I have such strong feelings about Master Soul. He's probably my favorite right now because I just feel like he's so genuine. And, when he rescued Osha, just the raw emotion, you could feel that, he cared for her so much. And, that just really draws you to him is what I think. And but then there's something hanging over, obviously, like some kind of guilt he feels. And I'm just living in fear of what is it?
I know. Yeah.
Right. Of how bad it is. I think the worst mistake, in my opinion, that we've seen Soul actively make is promising her that she will never feel that bad again.
Yeah.
It's so relatable. I mean, I think many of us have probably lied like that to somebody we love. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's, I think, maybe one of the things that makes me think that he did absolutely do something bad, but that it was so coming from a place of, I so want to protect someone that I did something bad, because that is, anyway.
I know. I've been there when I've said the whole, we're going to be okay. And in my head, I'm thinking, we're not going to be okay. We're not.
This is all going to work out. Did you have a favorite with Yord or Jecki? Was there one of those characters that was more or less heartbreaking for you to lose?
Oh gosh, probably Jecki was the harder for me personally. I mean, both. I was really shocked, and it sort of made. I mean, it makes sense because he obviously, Chimere, whatever his name is, doesn't want any of them alive, I'm sure. But when he talks about killing the dream, it's like that's the next generation that the older generation is looking forward to carry on the legacy of the Jedi and the hope of the Jedi. And if you snuff that out, then that's powerful, and that's a statement. And so it makes sense, but at the same time, it hurt.
Yeah.
Look, I like sad ballads, that break my heart, that hurt so good in music. I like that there's a little pain being caused. Is it disturbing? Maybe I've got to deal with something, but it's been, I like playing with the pain there.
Yeah, and they're both constructed well to be extremely painful. Thing that we haven't talked about a lot is the horrible force throwaway of Yord's body.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Not just murdering him, but just like, putting him out to the trash there. Terrible.
So disrespectful.
Really.
Like, who cares about that? But,
Yeah. I hope Yord gets a really proper Jedi service where everybody wears their finest robes, well ironed. I think he deserves it.
Yes. He would expect nothing less.
Yeah, indeed. Lydia, thank you so much for being a longtime supporter around here and calling in today.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Lydia there. And look, we got on the line now here, Joseph. I called him out by name in a good way, and he is now here, our clip master and the best maker of Jacksonville ribs I know, Big Lou from Big Lou's Clubhouse on the show. How you doing, Big Lou?
I am outstanding, gentlemen. How are we doing this Friday night?
You're doing
We're having a
great.
great time.
Yeah, this has been fun. To answer the question right off the top, I'm all in on Master Soul. Master Soul is my guy. He just has a warmth that is outstanding. I love his interactions with Osha. That dynamic is my favorite part of this show. But as someone from Jacksonville, I would be remiss if I didn't throw one out for my boy Manny Jacinto as Darth Chimere, Darth Smiley, whatever you want to call him. But I was such a fan of The Good Place, and the absolute thrashing that show gave my city is just hysterical to me. So I have to represent a little bit. So, but
what was the name of his friend in Good Place who showed up in The Mandalorian?
God,
something
in the Sorgan episode, right? The Sorgan episode.
Yeah. I'll remember at some point, but
yeah, exactly. 3 a.m, I'll wake up and be like, "Oh, it was that," and I'll have to send someone a random text. But yeah, I'm loving this show. I think it's fantastic. Is it perfect? No, but it doesn't have to be, and that's one of the best things I think about media is it's all subjective. We take from it what we want, and we embrace the things that are there. For me, I am a sucker for member berries. That's me. I'm the problem. It's me when it comes to the member berry stuff. It's because I'm just now getting to editing my content for Ahsoka that I filmed during the writer's strike last year, and I just never got around to editing it. And in editing it, I'm crying editing these videos because it just hit me. So when Carson Tevis said Phoenix Leader, I was like, oh, they said Phoenix Leader, and I just kind of dissolve into a blubbering mess. So, but.
I think I get what some people might throw some caution member berries ahead things out there. I can understand that, and we never want that to be in the place of story. But this world, a world built so big, you want to. It's familiar. It's warmth. It is a celebration. This. Won't get into details, but the second episode of House of Dragon went back to the wall, and we spent 5 minutes there, and we started at Winterfell and went to the wall, and I was emotional. I was emotional of it, and it's a small moment, but it's not because, hey, that's a thing. It's a place where so much happened, and if you're so invested, little reminders of that aren't a bad thing along the way.
Mm-hmm. And I just have to add, Pillboy. Thank you, David McKay.
There you go.
Yes, Pillboy.
Yeah, Pillboy. So now both Manny Jacinto and his bud Pillboy are in Star Wars together. Slightly different roles. Yeah, I just got to say I love his I love how much he's using his comedy chops in this. The performance in The Good Place was a lesson in how to take a ancient archetype of comedy and somehow still make it fresh. All the specificity about Jacksonville and his drifty voice, phenomenal. Real quick about the whole member berries thing too. Sure. I think for me it's like when people talk about exposition. The existence of exposition in story is not bad. Bad exposition is bad. Clumsy, uninformed characters telling other characters stuff that they would know for the benefit of the audience. And I feel the same way about stuff that is, from a legacy story's past. Is it done in a way that is resonant to the characters there? Is it done in a way that is, honoring the journey that the audience has gone on? Or is it kind of sweaty of like, we don't know if we'll like this new one, so we'll throw this in here? To me, it's all about how is it done? It's not good or bad. It's how is it executed?
Yep.
Yeah.
I
think,
as Matthew Stokes says, the whole planet is a city. I still think a valuable Star Wars line because not everyone knew that.
Yeah, it all goes back to world building. As long as it does, adds something to the world that you didn't know it was there. I say, again, as long as it's good exposition and good member berries done tastefully, and they don't rely too heavily on it. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Big Lou, thanks for calling in. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the clips. You're doing some great work. It's helping.
Hey,
and
guys, it's my pleasure. I've been following you guys for a long time, and anything that I can do to help you guys spread the word that y'all are doing and stuff, I think it's I'm happy to help out and happy to do it, and it helps me too. So.
We appreciate it. And yeah, absolutely. For those watching, Big Lou does some great stuff on his channel, Big Lou's Clubhouse. And he's got Big Lou's Workshop. If you need to learn how to build a shelf, he's your guy.
Yeah.
I've watched those videos before.
You just want to watch me tool around in my garage and build some cool stuff and do some home improvement stuff. I've got Big Lou's Workshop, and then all my nerdy stuff is Big Lou's Clubhouse. So
thank you.
Awesome. Well,
thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Big Lou. Cheers.
Love it. Cheers to Big Lou. We're doing good. About 30 plus minutes left here. Want to rapid fire some questions? That was a great. I was proud of us there. I was proud of us.
Yeah, I mean, my Lord, I didn't know we could talk that fast. Here we go. Here comes from Fantastic 314. Luke's revival of the Jedi Academy, based on the myth of the Jedi, is a big reason why he failed and went into exile. I would have loved if Kylo mentioned something about living up to those expectations. Yeah, I mean, I think The Last Jedi is a real good example of, really less is more writing, being really aware of, like, there's so many things to say, but we need to imply some of them because too much dialogue is going to drag the scene down. And there are things in both Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker where sometimes I'm like, I wish a character had been more explicit about that. Like, I feel that idea, the community talks about that idea, but maybe that idea could have been more explicit. So I agree with that. And I think I'm happy that, for me, that idea comes off, that Luke had so wound himself tight and it was so the perfect Jedi Master who could never fail, that, of course, that would be hard for young Ben to live up to. What are your thoughts, Ken?
Yeah, it's one of the things we've talked about, Ben, for a while around here. I gave years ago the example of the pastor's kid, which is this almost impossible standard to live up to, and that can twist some of them. In my personal experiences, having grown up in the church, of a lot of pastors' kids that almost no fault of their own, they make their own choices, but it's a twisting of the mind when your parent is someone that's respected or has responsibility, but also kind of looked up to as a hero, as a problem solver, as a sage, as a counselor, as this, and then you have to, no fault of even their own, they come home and now they're your parent, and just a lot of things it can get twisted. And I think Ben has that energy to me of, it's Han and Leia, and now your uncle. These three people so close to you just saved everything. They're the heroes, right? And that would be a natural way. And then for Luke and his side of, it's one of the things we talked about going forward with a new Jedi Order or Rey, where you could take in story some of the things that are also discussed outside the story of, hey, was that the right rule for the Jedi to put in place? Was that the right philosophy? Is there a different way to do it? And maybe the answer is no, but we might want to go on a journey to analyze it. And I think Luke had the pressure of, we're rebuilding from the first brick. There's a lot of pressure, and he is only he's human, and he's going to make those mistakes along the way too, and try to be perfect. That can be destructive in its own way. So a lot of realistic things to play with there.
I love that detail that I believe is from the Rise of Kylo Ren comic book too, that he's named after Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi. So he's also like named after a guy he's supposed to live up to. It's pretty great. All right, grabbing this one from Randy Tillman. I think Adam Driver's acting was the best in Star Wars ever. He brought so much to my favorite character behind Luke. Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. It's certainly, and Randy's not suggesting it be a contest. It's not a contest at all. But I think for me personally, I go to Adam Driver's performance. He's without a doubt a spectacular actor. I love what he brought. It's still some of my. I think I'd call it my favorite work in Star Wars.
Yeah, it is some absolutely phenomenal stuff. The Please and the Rise of Skywalker. You can never go back to her, just like I can't. Amazing stuff. All right, Ken, you want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do it here. We've got us. Yes, that's great. I was pressing that one. You okay, force great. Connected. We are a dyad in the comments.
We are a dyad in the YouTube. Gentleman says SMG311. What is your favorite motivational line? Mine is from The Last Jedi. The greatest teacher of failure is sometimes we all need a Yoda-like figure in our lives to kick our ass a bit. Turned very heavy metal at the end. I like it. There is so darn many to choose from. But I think one that I continue to be obsessed with because it is so simple and so direct is, but in its simplicity, I think has complexity, is Luke's line of confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. Takes all sorts of ideas about the danger of fear, but it also speaks to what we've been talking about so much with the Acolyte of like, you're gonna fail, or as a Jedi, you're gonna be like, here are these 10 rules and I know them, but they all seem to be failing me in this moment, and I have to face that I need to make up something new in the moment, or I'm gonna fail people, I'm gonna fail myself. I have all this power, and if I use it the wrong way, I'm really going to hurt someone. I think it really says a lot about the nature of what a Jedi is. And I think it's one of those lines that ties the big myth with the epic characters and the lightsabers to our own lives of like every problem in life. It feels like at least the internal ones it's confronting fear. I have this deep, sometimes it's an obvious thing. Sometimes it's a deep seated thing that it takes you so much time to track down and go like, why can't I do this thing? I know nothing bad will happen, but I'm terrified to do it. It really helps me.
Yeah, this is, God, I SMG, I wish I had a week to prepare all my answers, because you suddenly don't remember anything in Star Wars anymore. You're like, I don't even know a line from Star Wars, but that one I go to a lot. The greatest teacher failure is, and we are what they grow beyond, is someone who has number one been mentored, but also has done a lot of mentoring, both in career and day job stuff as a supervisor, as a boss, that type of stuff. I've felt that. I felt that directly in my soul. But I have to go. I'm trying to think of like what gets me, and I can't. We just did our Rise of Skywalker commentary. By the way, it's going to be released tomorrow on the Patreon page. It'll also be in our shop. Lando say there are more of us, Poe, more of us. I can't. I get chills every time I think about it. It ties a little bit to, I know, one of your favorite lines of Yoda, alone, never have you been, Rey. I'm paraphrasing as I always do. But it's that kind of feel, and it's about how you can accomplish things, or how you sometimes feel. In my darkest hours, I have felt alone, and I'm not alone in that feeling, but you don't feel that when you're in it. So having someone like Lando remind me of it in the middle of a dogfight in space is important to me.
That was great. Yeah, a lot of great comments, deep comments. Jackie's line, we were not defined by what we lose, but what we survive is great. Matthew Stokes, well, my little friend, you got something jammed in here real good.
Look, I Love You, I Know is a great, there's so much I love about that. It belongs on towels and it belongs in wedding vows. I get it. But there's just something about Hans, I know, that's just motivational, because it's him being like, yeah, I was just waiting for you, and I know how hard it is for you to get there, but I've been here and I'm here now. There's something that's motivational in that too, in and out of relationships. As well.
And hello there. That one.
Hello there. And I want to shout out to 8984M, who will take his call here shortly. He says, Lando's who is everybody when Poe is talking to Leia too. I love that Poe at the feet of Leia scene, and there's some truth about that too, because we all have those moments of, I can't do this, and Lando being like, yeah, none of us really can. That's not how you get through it, is knowing you can do it. You get around with people around you. Yeah, I love that.
And this deeply felt classic Ichuta.
I mean, I've got that tattooed.
Yeah, so many good Andor lines. Yeah, Nemec's whole speech. I'll get a tattoo of Nemec's whole podcast that he recorded there.
Love that there.
Yeah, hey, yeah. Let's get not LOL. I don't remember that quote from Star Wars. God, it keeps moving. There we go. You must do what you feel is right. Of course, I think about that one a lot. Yeah. Good old Kenobi.
There's so many.
All right, back to calls.
Let's do a call. I mentioned it. Well, you know what? All right, he's been here for a while. I apologize, Marco. I accidentally made you wait for a while, but you're on with us now, Marco. How you doing, buddy? Marco. I can't unmute Marco. All right. We'll go to Brady. 8984M, you're on. How you doing, Brady?
Hello.
I'm good. Hello. How are you? And who's your favorite Acolyte character?
Oh man, that was one episode. Yeah. Especially when your favorite character is Yord and Jackie. Oh
no.
You're feeling it.
Did you? Let me ask you. Did you feel like when Jecki died? Did you feel like, well, that's a big death, so Yord's gonna pull through this one episode, or did you feel like that's it for Yord too?
Yeah, I thought Yord was gonna make it because of that, and then Yord bit the dust and was like, oh yeah.
Yep. In such a brutal way too. Such a brutal
way.
So those are your favorite characters. What drew you to them?
So yeah, I think it was their acting and their dynamic. They just had such a, I don't know. I think you mentioned the Planes, Train, and Automobile. I feel like if it was just them together, that would make a good movie. They had that kind of dynamic. I guess it's like a sibling kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was interested in the arc, like if they found out of what happened. Yeah.
Same. I think on rewatch too, knowing once you know what happens, some of those moments where she's doing the eye roll of Yord, it's gonna hurt even more. You know about you don't know how much time you have left, and I in my heart, as much as we love making fun of Yord, which is part of the appeal of being in the Yord horde, right? It's I think his heart was always in the right spot. It's just the rules of the institution he was raised in, and I don't think that's inherently wrong or inherently his fault. So there's so much tragedy. The rewatch is going to be a little painful. So 898-4M, when you rewatch, let us know. We'll send you a virtual hug.
Yeah, and this ties into my question for you guys. My question is, what do you think is the thematic significance of major characters' deaths, outside of course, shock and raising the stakes?
Yeah, for me, I think it's about how does it impact who goes on. We were just talking about Jecki's line about you're not defined by what you lose, you're defined by what you survive, which is a wonderful, noble thing. Hey, maybe she even heard it from her master, who has taught a Padawan who was who we know Osha struggled to let go of the loss. We know that that Soul struggled to let go of whatever he did. We know that the other Jedi on Brendok appeared to fail with dealing with it at all. So I think we as an audience are reacting to Jecki's arc being cut off, but the weight of her death will continue and how it affects Soul, who lost another child that he wants to protect. So I think for me, it's important to think about how it's going to continue to affect the characters.
Yeah, same right there with you on that. The lesson to have, including the mistakes and including the guilt and the shame and the doubt that this will, kind of how it will affect the characters to survive and the Jedi Order and what they're doing and who knows what they're going to do and who knows what the small council is going to do. Questions still to be answered, but real losses that they're going to have to deal with. So, as painful as it is, I like to see how those lessons are explored. Love it.
And just how characters deal with turning to the dark side. Of course, I think having a character that they have a deep relationship with get murdered, right, is really going to test them.
Yeah, no, and I think thematically it'll be very interesting to see what goes on. With Yord, he was such a symbol of the rules and following the rules and being very certain of things that I don't think that theme is dead. I don't think that theme dies with Yord's. It'll be interesting to see if Yord's death, impacts how the Jedi continue to wrestle with that issue.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think if Kiadi Mundi learned about it, he's like, if only Yord kept on listening to the rules,
he would have got on that ship. It'd have been fine. Yeah.
Love it. 898-4M. Thank you for being a part of our community. You are always present in our Discord. We appreciate the call today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. He's back on. Marco's here. Marco is here, Joseph. Marco.
Hello.
Hello, Marco.
Hello.
You're going to have to, sir, you're going to have to turn your radio down.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
What do you got, buddy? Who's your favorite Acolyte character?
Well, can I just preface what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you remember, I spoke to you last time about the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Colin thing. Like, both times I'm like 8 hours ahead of you guys.
Oh wow.
We love it. We appreciate your dedication.
You got to remember, like
2 in the afternoon to you guys is like 10 at night to us guys, you know. And
yeah,
you know, if we're in the whiskeys, it's a whole different ball game.
I'm in my rums now. No, we appreciate you. We appreciate it. So, who's your favorite Acolyte character?
Okay, okay. Well, I've got a couple of. Give me a couple of things, right? First of all, I just want to say that I hope that one day you guys make up the Edinburgh Festival. I don't know if you heard of the Edinburgh Festival.
Sure.
I would love you guys
very much
to come
have
there one day. I would love you guys to make it over here one day for the Edinburgh Festival, biggest arts festival in the world.
Yep.
I would be first to buy a ticket if you guys made it.
I'll meet you at the 5th or 4th.
Secondly, I'd like to say that like I love both of you guys. I have Ken's book. I love Joseph's insight to all his insights, all the themes and stuff. I love all that shit. I don't particularly identify with any character with the Acolyte. I think that's the thing that my one criticism I have with it. I don't really identify with any particular character. What I do like about it is kind of like I feel like it's the kind of polar opposite to Andor, whereas like Andor you had like very grounded rebellion, you know, like machine guns and stuff, and Acolyte is all like spiritual Jedis, lightsabers. It's like so I like that thing, but if any character I identify, probably Osha the most, because she's the one that kind of like has foot in both sides. You know what I mean? I think what I wanted to ask you about, what I wanted to ask you about, was how do you feel about the kind of, I don't know if it's a trend, but the kind of thing about like having like earthly mammalian characters, as in like in Kenobi we had like a mole type character,
right? Freck,
you know,
Freck,
and who my wife pointed out is like the mole, like and like here we have like a sort of beaver type character, you know, and I don't know how. I know like Joseph's a big fan of Doctor Who, and like you know, Doctor Who's like got that kind of like I feel like with the TV stuff, I feel like there's slightly less character development, and I'm not so keen on that kind of side of things. You know, I feel like there should be a little bit more alien development there.
Gotcha.
Let me just throw it in real quick. I'm pro weird beaver alien, and I hope we spend a lot of time and get a lot of character development on the weird beaver guy.
Yeah. I agree with you there too. And Marco, I've had to mute you because you're the delay is causing us some interference here.
That's okay.
I think in general, I'm with you. Like, I don't love a character that's a complete shark with arms yelling things, but I also think it's built into Star Wars. That damn cricket in the cantina. You know what I mean? Like I think it's part of the weirdness. And it doesn't always work for me right away, but I think like even with a character like Basil, like number one, he's cute, like it's a thing. But I think it just makes sort of sense for the wild, weird world of Star Wars pulp. But I follow it out. But you know, I don't know if I'll get a Basil tattoo yet, but he might save the day, and he might save a character I love, which is Pip. All right, Marco, thank you, my friend. You've been patient, and we appreciate it. All right, Marco. God bless you. I love you. All right, we got.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. We got a couple calls lined up. I'm on about a 10-minute warning, everybody. I'm on a 10-minute warning, so we're going to try to get through. If you delay me, my Chihuahua doesn't get to the vet. You don't want to do that, right? Let's go.
All right. Well, then some fast questions here from Matthew Stokes. Thank you very much. The grin on Chimere's mask helmet was Venom-esque to me, but it also reminded me of the Abeloth character art. Do you think the design could set up a callback to something else? I know everybody is real on about all the Abeloth hints. I've read up on them a little bit. I got to admit for myself, I got some pre-Last Jedi feelings about Abeloth, where I feel like maybe the community's convincing itself that something's for sure going to happen. I don't know. I hate how many social media posts I see where people are like, well, since Filoni has set up that Abeloth is coming back, like, is it for certain? Have we made it certain? Not saying this to you, Matthew. Just I'm going on an Abeloth rant, like Homer about the Blue Man Group. In terms of his helmet, I love that it reminds everybody of different things of, Venom, scary clowns, it's the insane clown posse, all that, Joker, all that stuff. I think the biggest thing is that what everybody's talked about is that it does have some connections to Ren and to Knights of Ren, and I think to Marchion Ro in the High Republic.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. The music cue is hard to ignore, but again, did George Harrison steal She's So Fine? I don't think so, but he wrote a similar song, so we'll see where that goes. But in Star Wars, those kind of clues do kind of have a way of popping up again. So we'll see. Yeah. I'm familiar enough with the character. I'm with you too. I think there's a case of, I don't think anyone said it, but yeah, great question, Matthew. There.
I just don't want people's Abeloth hearts to get broken. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. All right. This one's from Jared again. What would be your lightsaber fighting style? Are you more Maul-like, Luke, Annie, Obi-Wan? I love Obi-Wan's style. I love that he fights defensively. And I love that detail in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, which is, of course, not canon, that he was sent to fight Grievous because everybody else is trying to overwhelm Grievous, and Obi-Wan fights defensively and wears him down. And I love that. That's a lot of his fighting style in the Clone Wars animated series is just like, wear him down, look for a cool opening, a clever opening that they're not looking for. So I'm going with my guy, Obi-Wan.
I would, whatever style I'd be, it wouldn't be as athletic as any of Maul or Jackie or Chimera or any of those. My fiance is a trained broadsword fighter. She has been fighting with swords for a long time. So one time we had a lightsaber fight in the old Collider office, and I am just like a lunk who's just swinging a brick blindly. So I have a little bit more of a mauler, not a maul, but a mauler. So I don't know who's the Jedi who's just a bulldozer with a blade, but that would be me. So that's where I'd go.
I got 3 blades and they're doing this. Watch out.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep doing this. If you hit me, that's your fault. Kind of it. All
right. Last super chat here.
Yeah, CB from a galaxy far, far away, a.k.a. CB Uncharted. That's a username. I would love a Jordan Jackie Tales of Jedi with a little more of the backstory. You kind of been hit at it, too. Just, there's a little bit of a buddy cop vibe. Some of our calls were about that, too. I could get behind that, Joseph.
What if they had a space Chihuahua character and they needed to take it to the vet? Wouldn't that be a great Tales of the Jedi?
Would love that. Love that. Yeah, absolutely. The thing about these stories, there's always characters show up and then characters maybe go, but Star Wars always has ability to not bring them back to life, and that's happened a lot, but just to go explore other parts of their life, and I think you could with these.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think we got 2 calls left. Is that right?
We do. Fernando, you're up right now. Thanks for waiting so long. What's your favorite Acolyte character?
Hello, hi. My favorite character, I didn't really have one up until last episode. It's Jackie, specifically because of the moment where she turns on the second saber and she looks at it and smiles. That's my favorite moment of the series so far. It's very Princess Bride, when Wesley says, "I'm not left-handed either." I love it.
Yes.
It instantly made me love her, and then they took her away, which is it's fine because she's now one with the Force, but. Yeah, I love that moment, and also the musical chime when she looks at it and smiles. It's great.
I'm right there with you. I think that was one of my favorite moments too, of just kind of let's not forget it. As dark as that episode was, as challenging as that episode was to our souls, it's also fun, and that was a fun moment we can celebrate and be part of her memoriam.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
Yeah, she's the one who's clever enough to take the hilt to the helmet and get the knowledge the Jedi need to light their way forward.
Yep.
Paid the price.
Fernando, thank you for that. Got to kind of run through quickly, but any final thought from you on Jackie?
No, thank you so much. And I also just wanted to say that thank you guys for making it cool to like the sequels, because it's rough out here, man.
It is.
I hear you. Thanks to everybody here. It's really nice to have a community where we can, all 3 of them.
I love all of them.
Yeah, I do too. I think they hold together so well. I really love them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fernando. All right, final call here, Joseph. Ventress87. Ventress has entered the chat. Welcome, Rachel, to the show. How you doing? Who's your favorite character?
Going into the series, I would have laughed at you if it was not going to be Carrie Ann Moss as Indara. Matrix, I was obsessed with it, probably more than I should have been. So excited. Holding out hope we're going to see more flashbacks to get the full story. Where we stand now, I'm super, super excited to learn more about the Master, Kymar, Mr. Apothecary, whatever you want to call him.
Darth Apothecary is a great option.
There you go.
Great.
There you go. I want to know all the things. They might call him Sith, but what is his identifier?
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion or even like a hope of what you think would be cool of what his story is? If he's a part of the Rule of Two, if he's outside of it, if he's a part of the Ren legacy?
I'm intrigued by him being part of the Ren legacy, but I have been speculating wildly this entire time. I'm trying to go in with an open mind. So I would, nothing would disappoint me. I just want to know. I just want to know. Yeah, I think wasted potential. I think there was so much more to Yord's story. I was looking forward to seeing if he influenced Osha to come back to the Jedi, or if she influenced him to kind of lighten up and you don't need to steam the robes before we go on a reconnaissance mission. So sad to see him go, but very very well done. Very well done. That was a sad parting, but a good one to see.
Yep.
Yeah. No, and you're making me think of, how Yord's legacy might continue and how it affects different characters. There's so many different crisscrossing relationships in the Acolyte, but we've spent a lot of time establishing that Yord and Osha were close.
Yep.
And, a lot of people are speculating that Chimera is going to be able to break Osha with the horrible truths of what the Jedi did. But I keep getting a vibe that Osha's pretty strong in her conviction, and that might be a great thing if she is tempted to give in to the dark side, and then she remembers this brave choice that Yord made to turn back. Maybe her connection to Yord, maybe his sacrifice will end up really making a difference and, being the thing that helps her in her great time of need.
And this time next week, I might say Basil, if some of the jokes I saw online come through where he's just doing charades to get Saul's attention and be like, you got the wrong sister. So.
It's a great plot point still to solve there. I love that.
Basil trying to mime cutting off your hair with a lightsaber will be fantastic to see.
All in.
Or him just trying to say, four words, 8 syllables. Check her forehead. Check her forehead.
Sounds like.
Sounds like. Ventress, thank you for calling in. We appreciate you supporting and calling in today.
Thank you both.
All right. That's it, Joseph. We've got it. We got one question from Rich T, and it's about something I think it's an interesting question. It's not something we normally would end on, but Rich T's been supporting. So I was wondering, I love the positivity for Star Wars, but is there anything in the OT that you don't like? I think that's a absolute fair question. I think it's New Hope for me. There was a point in time where I had seen A New Hope so many times and had lived with it for so long that I almost just, if I had it on, I was just like, just get to the fighting, just get to the ships. It wasn't that it was slow. It's doing what it world builds. And I think with Rogue One and an expansion of the modern era, I think I see New Hope, not in new light, but I have a reappreciation for some of it. But there was a long period of time where if I did, it was probably my least watched of the original 3 on VHS. But what I did, I wouldn't fast forward, but I just was like, kind of like, yeah. He finds the droids, Uncle Owen, got it. A little bit of that vibe for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's an honesty that A New Hope has an amazing beginning for 1977, welcoming you into this world, but it can be a slower start for modern audiences. No, I had a lot of baggage with Return of the Jedi growing up. There are parts I loved and parts that I struggled with. Sometimes I think it's the direction. The acting's great, but some of the camera angles are they're a little flat. They're not as inspired as Empire Strikes Back, in my opinion. The direction of how Leia speaks in the bridge scene on Endor when Luke is telling her about everything it's a phenomenal scene. There are lines in it that I absolutely love, but why must you confront him? She said, speaking in a more regal way, and I kind of want to hear the vulnerable real Leia come out in that moment sometimes.
Yeah. And one thing I've said in the past too, it's not opinion I hold near and dear to my heart, but I've always been like, come on, the space slug was a hand in a mask or a toy. Like, come on. Like when I was a youngster, I used to complain about that one a little bit there too. But no, love it indeed. Well, there you go. I think we've done it, Joseph. We've cleared the calls. We've cleared the questions.
Thank you all so much. This was just really great to have all the calls and all the questions and all the kind super chats. And I have even more Acolyte feelings now.
No, we appreciate it. And to end on a positive thing, we've got 3 episodes left. We got a lot of emotional things to work through and big answers to come. I'm excited of where we are. And we will say on July 12th, is it? I will double check because I want to make sure I'm right. But we're doing another live stream a little bit earlier in the month than we normally do in July. Yes, July 12th, same time, 2 p.m. Pacific. And we're going to do some live show finale predictions. So get ready to call in and we'll make some wild and both responsible predictions about the end of the show.
And it's going to be late in Edinburgh, so get ready for Marco's call-in for Marco's final predictions on the Acolyte.
Love it.
July 12th, right?
Yeah, that's about. And we're gonna make Alex Amali pop on to give us predictions too. Also, we want to advertise because we love Alex Amali. And they do so many wonderful things to get the word out about us. We will be on their breakdown of the finale as well. Though Joseph, I know you're doing some traveling, but we're gonna make it happen. We'll be there, and that'll be fun as well.
Yep. Very quick plug that got a live show coming up in August here in Los Angeles for my birthday. It is the day before my birthday. It's a comedy variety show called Horror Years Old. So if you're in the LA area or want to be in the LA area, come and check it out. Ken's going to be on the show as well with a bunch of other great people. But I'm also live streaming it. I haven't done this before, but you can just buy a ticket and you can watch online this live show. So if you're interested in that, just go to my website, josephscrimshaw.com. Tickets right there.
There you go. Go to my website for ticket information for shows. If you're in town local, still tickets left for my show Sunday, headlining show at Flappers, but it'll be in Seattle, be in Little Rock, be in San Diego for a night at the American Comedy Company during San Diego Comic-Con, and happy to be part of Joseph's, we'll say, celebration of aging in the modern
exactly.
age. All right. That's it for me.
And me and this Oreo.
We'll see you next time here on ForceCenter Live.